Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of the Dirty Side of the Grid podcast, where we've turned up late to qualifying, but since everyone fell asleep, we snuck up to the front and no one actually noticed. I'm Mohammed, and I'm joined by Youssef, my co-host, as usual, and we're just going to be running through the general race, what happened the weekend as a whole, seeing as it was a sprint race weekend. But as we normally do, as is tradition around here, we're going to start with Youssef, the return of Youssef's unrelated thing of the weekend before we even mention anything to do with the race. So, do you have a fun fact for us or something?
It's not a fun fact, it's a fun video. So I,
Oh,
I, I found a few fun facts, but this one's a funny video. So it's a video from 2010, before the start of the season,
yeah.
and on the settee is sitting is um, David Coulthard. What's his name? Jordan. You've got also, I forgot his name, Martin Brundle, and like another guy. They're sitting on the couch and they're asking them like, who's gonna win the constructors? And
Yeah.
everyone's like McLaren, whatever, Ferrari. And then it comes to the last one, and Dave is like Red Bull, and they're all laughing like, ha 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 ha,
Oh, yeah,
Red
I've
Bull,
seen this.
what a
Yeah.
joke, what a joke. And then they go through the names, and then they're like, oh, who's gonna win the drivers? And then they say like, everyone says a name, and he says Sebastian Vettel, and they're all like, ha 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 ha, what a funny guy. It's so funny. Sure, they will win it. And then obviously, like Seb and Red Bull went on to win 4
In a
back-to-back
row.
drivers and constructors. So
Love to
I
see it.
found that
You know,
video to
actually,
be kind of
I got
very
slated. I
hilarious.
was on over the winter break. I was on a what's it called, on Reddit a little bit, and I made a couple posts talking about how, like, in the comments I just mentioned as like a passing comment, like, I don't think Mercedes are going to be that good. They'll be like third fastest team, or not third fastest, but like maybe second, but a bit behind Ferrari sort of thing. I didn't think Red Bull would be this good. I'm not going to take credit for all these predictions, but I got, everyone has given me some sort of analysis. They were like, Mercedes have built this giant, they've built an incredible dynasty. They've got all the best engineers and stuff. They've created a foundation where they'll just never fall off. Like, Mercedes dominance will just never end. And now we're here. And I mean, I'm not even going to get into it too fast, but like, yeah, no, I'm
Can I
not
just comment? Can I just comment about
gonna.
one thing before you
Please,
move on?
please don't.
Mohammed, obviously, like if you watch the podcast, Mohammed's a big Lewis fan. Can I just say Lewis can't drive, obviously, because like he's in a Mercedes and he finished P13, bro. George finished P4, man.
Lewis, Lewis and Mercedes are getting heated later on, so we'll save that for now. But first, before we even get into the weekend, I'm going to mention a few of the news stories in a little news roundup, news corner, whatever you want to call this. We'll come up with a name for the segment soon enough. But there's actually some big stories that came out of this week before the race. The first thing, Carlos Sainz, oh no, sorry, Charles Leclerc had his watch robbed. It's worth like a few hundred K, I'm pretty sure. It's one of like 2 ever made or something. Richard Mille, given to him by sponsors, obviously. The guy, like, I think he asked for a picture, then robbed him of his watch. I don't know if it was at gunpoint or something, but Charles actually chased him in his Ferrari while they were on a moped, and then they ditched the moped and ran through the woods or something to escape him. Mad story, second driver in what, like a year to have his watch robbed.
Yeah, the other is for those who don't know, Lando at Wembley.
Same Richard Mille as well, actually. But the thing is, it's mad because it has Charles's name engraved on the inside. So like really, who's buying that? Like, how are you gonna? Anyone with enough money is gonna know that's his. So
Yeah, but that's the thing. You just buy it and keep it in a private collection. No one needs to know where you got it from.
I reckon it's. Imagine like Christian Horner buys or something and just wears it in the paddock. Just
Yeah.
walk around with
Where
it
did you
on.
get that from? I found it on the street. It was just on the side of the road. I don't
Mind
know.
games.
I'm guessing it's a red like Ferrari kind of color scheme. So like
Yeah, it's
we
actually
probably won't
really
want to
nice.
wear that.
It looks so good. Like red strap, bit of black on it. Like it looks good.
No, it doesn't.
This guy. All right.
Lose
Second news
control.
story. I've only got there's 2 left. The second one, Carlos Sainz, that's a pun. He extends his contract to 2024. So he's now got another 2 years. That puts him at the same length as I think it now ends at the same time as Leclerc and quite a few other drivers. So 2024 is looking like the big year for contracts.
But Sainz did not exactly go on to do well on the weekend where he signed a new contract, did he?
Yeah, I mean Ferrari in general had an awful home race. But just to ask you about this, like, do you think they have the best driver lineup then? Like consider.
No, I think Mercedes has a better driver lineup overall, to be honest.
I mean,
With George obviously being able to kind of, he is keeping up with Lewis. I
yeah,
think they have a better overall lineup. Not for the future. Like obviously Mercedes are kind of limited by age, and like
yeah.
it's only going to be a 2-year one. But I think at this point, I think they have the best terrible car, but best driver lineup.
Not
Wait,
even. What
let
about
me
Red
close my
Bull?
window.
Is Red Bull not even?
No, I wouldn't put them on the list. To be honest. That's a bit much. I wouldn't put them on the list because I think Sergio Perez is not exactly. He's good. He's a good driver. Don't get me wrong. I really like Sergio, but since he's been in the Red Bull, he hasn't been the most consistent driver. Like we've known him to be extremely consistent and all that stuff, but in the Red Bull, he hasn't been that consistent. Maybe it's also because he's been sacrificing a lot of his races for Max, but.
Yeah.
But even on the races where he doesn't sacrifice, he has a lot of races where he's just kind of in the midfield stuck in what is clearly the best car in the grid. It's kind of like Valtteri, essentially. He was Valtteri 2.0.
I see that, but like,
But he can defend. Valtteri
that's
can defend.
yeah, that's very true. But even then, like, I don't know. He's not. He's doing all right, to be fair. Like, the thing is, you don't need him to be Max Verstappen because.
No, but if he was getting better results, they would have won the constructors last year.
Yeah, but if we're talking at the moment, he's actually doing solid. Like, sort of. I think so. Is he? Hold on. Let me check the standings.
Like this race is the first time where he's actually been like very, very solid. But even his qualifying wasn't solid.
He's 5 points behind Max. Okay, actually, Max is retired twice, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's 5 points behind.
He's retired once. Max retired twice, and he's only 5 points behind. He should be ahead, realistically.
Yes. We'll see. We'll see how things develop. And then the last news story actually comes out of Lewis Hamilton, him and Serena Williams, they were confirmed, and actually he confirmed this as well, that they were going to put forward millions of pounds into buying Chelsea, which is up for sale, Chelsea Football Club.
And just comment, he's an Arsenal fan.
He is also an Arsenal fan. There was a lot of talk about that. I think I don't even know much more about that, to be honest. It's just
he sold out his
Serena buying. You know what? I will fully go to Stamford Bridge if he's at any of the games or something. I will go watch a Chelsea match. I don't even care. I probably wouldn't see him because he'd be in some fancy box.
He's probably buying the club because he can't drive anymore. So he needs a new hobby. You know, driving is obviously too difficult for him.
Dealing with this for the whole hour, you know.
I'm just saying, like, I'm just doing this to annoy Muhammad. Okay, like it's not like based on like.
It's fine. You know what it is? I
agreement
feel
with
like
these
if
views.
this was the 44 Agenda podcast and I was sat here constantly talking about Lewis, I feel like we'd half our audience because the Red Bull fans would turn off immediately. So
See,
like,
the Red Bull fans are gonna come just because I'm basically
they're gonna appreciate this. They're gonna appreciate this. That's
Max
why
is much better than this, bro.
I'll go on the podcast Twitter account, yeah, and I'll just see like some horrible take about like, or not even horrible take. To be fair, sometimes it's just someone praising Max, and I'll see it and I'll cringe, and then I'm like, I'm not gonna like, because I'm following the Max Verstappen topic, the Max Verstappen Twitter account, because I need to be seeing like, I can't just like the things that I like on the podcast account, because otherwise I'm just gonna end up with one side of this, not one side of the story, but you know what I mean? It's just going to be people constantly going like, oh, but Lewis is the greatest. Oh, Lewis, he didn't have a bad race today. You know, like stop talking about him. And I'm not going to
That's
see.
what I don't get. It's like when fans are like, obviously the drivers had like a horrid race, and then they're like, nah, he was so good.
Bro.
Are you watching a different race?
Screw it, bro. Right.